Okay, Oval fans. So yeah, I look with everything going on with Zatima, the Oval kind of fell to the wayside. This wasn't a bad episode. It was like I said in my previous review. You go into these episodes with low expectations, you won't get disappointed. I think Grown Woman season 6 episode 3 is about a 6 out of 10. If I remember correctly, I think that's around the score I gave Sisters this week. At least with the Oval, I kind of have a little bit to talk about compared to Sisters, but I also, got the 30-second promo early, which I think is great. So I did the trailer breakdown for episode 4. Make sure you check that out as well. Believe it or not, the Oval, my videos that I've been uploading, because, I've been saying if the videos aren't really doing much, I'm probably going to drop the show after episode 5. It's kind of a slow burn where it takes a few days for the views to kind of go up, but then I check back a week or so later, some of my Oval content has been getting a couple to 3,000 plus views, which isn't bad. So I mean, I might keep riding the train. We'll just have to wait and see. But for as long as I do, I hope you're here to stick around. I know the couple of people who engage on the content with comments and whatnot, they enjoy it. So we'll just have to wait and see how long I keep it going. But before getting into the review, which believe me, this will not be long, make sure you take a moment to hit the thumbs up button to show you like the video, even if you didn't like the episode. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. Hit the bell icon and select all. That way you're up to date when I post content. And hit subscribe. Let's do it. So Sam, burst in there with the gun thinking that something's going on, like Nancy's being hurt. And Dale comes in and smashes a vase across his head because he thought Sam was a burglar. And in the midst of this confusion, Clarence, gets what happened here reminded me of when Hunter caught Victoria in bed with Eli but didn't know it was Eli. But remember, Eli hid underneath the sheets like a ghost and booked it out of the room. And Clarence did the same thing, well, a similar thing here, where he rushed out so fast Sam couldn't see him. But yeah, it turns out Dale was drunk, and that explains a lot, because I'm like, wait a minute, why doesn't Dale react to what's going on? If Sam heard Nancy making all that noise and he was at the door outside of the house, Dale being upstairs too probably, how is he not reacting to all the hooping and hollering Nancy's doing in the bedroom? But it turns out, yeah, he's drunk. So in the midst of everything, Sam and Nancy are talking. This woman is drunk as a skunk, and Sam is like, this is crazy. Nancy, are you been drinking? Yes, I have. And like, look, I know you're going to tell Richard. Tell him what I was doing. Tell him. And look, you better not tell him to come. You better tell him not to come back home because he doesn't live here anymore. And I'm like, really? I think he's going to throw your ass out, Nancy. So over at the White House, Priscilla comes out of the residency and she pretty much takes control. She's telling Isaac, look, you need to prep these men for transport. They're about to get medical attention. And Isaac's like, oh, these men are not going anywhere because as soon as they get taken out of here, they're probably going to get arrested. No, I'm going to go down there and talk to the president right now about that. The president's in the residency. No, the sitting president. I'm going to go down there, talk with Eli, ensure that these men have safe transport and they do not get detained. And Jason jumps in thinking like, don't trust him, don't do it. And I mean, he's just there reading a book, chilling. And like Priscilla said, you're enjoying this, aren't you? Actually, I am. Yeah, he's enjoying seeing these people bleed out and die because he's just casually sitting on the chair reading a book like nothing's wrong. So Priscilla leaves and Eli, is just kind of, upset that she got the better of him because it's like, well, I have his ear. So do I. But do you have a vagina? Yeah, like I thought. So from there, she goes back to the Oval. And this is actually after Victoria steals Bobby away and takes him to one of the random rooms in the White House to smell him. And it's interesting because not only is Victoria sniffing Bobby to see if Simone's perfume is on him, but she also wants to see what's going on. Like, why are you such a delightful bar of chocolate everybody wants a bite of? And Bobby pretty much denies everything. But Victoria, believe it or not, she was actually giving some tidbits to various characters this episode. But based off the way she, talks down to everyone and her track record with everyone, nobody wants to believe it. So she pretty much says, like, you need to be careful because, first of all of us women in the White House and this, DC and whatnot, these positions of power, we're just like you, Bobby. We sleep with whoever we want, when we want, and it doesn't matter. And Simone Like, she might come across as sweet and innocent and the victim here, but she is crazy and possessive. I guarantee you. And based off her demeanor, you can kind of tell that's the truth. So from there, Max is chastising Bobby as usual. And Priscilla and Victoria arrive and they bicker outside of the Oval. You know, Victoria's trying to tell the team, hey, did you know Bobby was sleeping with Simone? Who cares? And then Donald's like, are y'all coming in here? So they come into the Oval. And Priscilla pretty much gives a recap of what happened upstairs with Hunter and, you know, recommends that, hey, you know what? I think that, you know, the medical attention thing is a great way to kind of establish peace. And we have to make sure that he thinks he's getting the Oval back in order to open the lines of communication. Now, initially, Donald's like, no, as soon as we get those agents out of here, Kyle, make sure they're detained. And she's like, no. We have to slowly gain his trust in order to swoop in to get him out the residency, okay? So he trusts me, and if you have these guys arrested, then we're screwed. So please just take it one step at a time. And Eli, rather than listening to Donald, takes Priscilla's advice, which I thought was pretty smart because usually, you know, people underneath, you know, a certain position of power, they're looked down upon. But I'm glad Eli has a little bit of sense to realize, no. I think what Priscilla says holds some weight, so let's not do that tactic. So Donald stands down. So from there, it's pretty much the next plan. All right, so maybe I need to go back up there to arrange something so we can meet in the Oval. We can meet, you know, have them meet us in the Oval. And Eli's like, you know what? Look. Everybody's tired. It's been a long day. Let's just go home. And Priscilla's like, no. But if we don't do it now, we're going to lose momentum. It's like, no, it's fine. Let's kind of regroup. Everybody go home, get some rest, and we'll come back tomorrow strong and get everything done. And, you know, Priscilla leaves. She goes talk to Richard in the kitchen about what's been going on. And Donald tells Alan to make sure no one comes in the east or west wings of the White House. That way the situation that occurred earlier doesn't get out. And to keep everything on the hush-hush. So back over at Richard and Nancy's house real quick, Sam is talking to Dale, asking about how much she drank. And he shows her the bottles. He shows him the bottles of how much she drank. And ask who was the man, because remember, Sam didn't catch the person in the act. So Dale's like, I think she ought to tell you who it was. And it's funny how he's like, what are you doing here? Well, you know, I need some place to stay, and Miss Nancy's always so nice. Yeah. Well, here's my card. Call me if that dude comes back. And why would I do that? Because if Richard comes back and finds his wife here with another man, everybody under this roof is going to die. Yeah, maybe I ought to just take my luck by staying out in the streets. And Sam's like, yeah, that might be the right thing to do. So then he leaves, and then Dale's like, nice card. So then we go back, like I said, to the White House. Richard is getting a rundown of what Priscilla, you know, did with Hunter. And for now, they're getting medical attention for all the guys that got shot up there. But, you know, they won't do anything else till tomorrow. And once she steps out, Sam calls Richard and basically doesn't tell him exactly what happened, which makes sense. I mean, this is the kind of conversation you don't have over the phone. And he knows if he tells Richard right now what happened, it's not going to be good for anybody involved. Like, look, you know what? Talk to your wife as soon as when you get the chance, but only after you cool down. And Richard also gives a brief rundown of what happened when Priscilla went to see Hunter. And Sam's like, dang it. So they haven't made a move yet. That means they're probably going to get Priscilla to go back up there again. So after that, we go over to Hunter in the residency. And what we're doing now is getting just kind of a brief plan. Isaac and Jason are hesitant to allow the guys to go get medical attention because what if they get scooped up? I mean, they were some of our best guys. So if they get scooped up and arrested, we're done for. It's like, no. I mean, we just got to let them go and trust that everything is going to be okay. It's not a sign of weakness. It's just a sign of, you know, hey, we're trying to meet him halfway. So he agrees with Priscilla's plan and trusts that Eli won't have him arrested. So Isaac gets the guys ready to go, and then Hunter has a brief talk with Jason, which I've done a video on. It's essentially, you know, so you show the guys the tunnels. Yeah, but not all of them. And that's because we know Jason's probably hiding a number of bodies and other things down there. But, you know, Hunter just essentially tells his son not to doubt him and that everything has to be done this way in order for us to win against, well, the opposing side, including Victoria. But also the fact that Sam is an ally, because Jason mentions how he noticed that Agent Isaac and Sam were kind of roughed up when he first saw him. That's because they got into a fight in the bedroom here because Sam wouldn't say why Jason was being kept from him. Now it's a question of, whose side is Sam really on right now? And then he tells his son to get some rest. And, Jake's like, hey, you too. But only after this fool says, this has been kind of hard on me. And I'm like, shut up. Yeah, your mom wants to kill you. Wham, wham. But how many victims have you killed, you little psycho? So Hunter's like, yeah, I'll get some rest after I go take a whiz. And unconsciously, he just gets up out of bed. And he's like, I can walk. And I mean, this kind of thing happens. I mean, I've seen it on the Waltons. Yeah, I have, when the mom, had polio or something and couldn't walk, and she was physically okay, but it's like a mental block or something. And she had like a nightmare that one of her kids were in trouble, but then she got up and it's like, wait a minute, I can walk again. But yeah, remember the pills that were in his food, what was it? Victoria had a doctor or something slip meds in his food that would like do something to his spine so he couldn't walk. But since he had that food cut off, the symptoms of the medication were gone, so now he can walk again. Now, to round things out, because trust me, we only got like a couple more scenes to go, we finally get Lily. It feels like we haven't seen her in forever. So Lily's at home in bed, and she gets a call from Donald, because earlier in the episode, you have Donald and Eli just chilling in the Oval, and they're drinking, just kind of recounting everything. And he's like, oh, so you and Cal, huh? Sir, we don't have to talk about it. I was like, no, like, me and my political beliefs were LGBTQ friendly. So is your wife doing okay? You ought to call her, because, you said you're going to stay here late. Because earlier Eli actually called Simone to let her know that, hey, you know what? I'm going to be home late. Well, not home late, but more like, hey, I'm spending the night at the Oval because there's a lot to get done. I might be at the house in the morning. And he's like, how did you get home? It wasn't Bobby. He's over at the White House with you. So then from there, Lily gets a call from Donald acting, straight in terms of, hey, honey, I'm going to be home late. I love you. And Lily knows it's BS. And then Victoria, who just finds a random room on the first floor to sleep in, calls Lily to give her an update about Big Bad Bobby sleeping around with Priscilla and Simone. So what's it like, girl? Is it really that good? Bye, Victoria. Oh, come on. I'm actually trying to help you out. Look, you better take my advice and get checked out, because you never know. This man been sleeping around. So that's the end of that. And then she's like, I hope something really bad happens to her. Which leads into Victoria, yet again, is like, you know what, causing drama. She decides to go to the Oval and tells Donald to briefly take a hike, and then shows Eli the footage of Simone and Bobby stepping into a room together right after they left the Oval after the big scuffle. And he doesn't believe they're having sex, or, well, actually, no, he doesn't believe, like Victoria, there's other things going on right now. And even Victoria tries to make a move on him. Like, well, since you're spending the night in the White House. And he's like, no, I'm sorry. Just like, there's too much going on. And then she goes back to her room dejected. And Eli's like, you know what? Where that asshole Bobby at? Where? Max like, oh, I think he's in one of the break rooms. So then when he confronts Bobby, because remember, Max told him, like, look, you need to change your clothes or get the smell off, because he knows what his wife smells like. And if he smells that perfume on you, it's a wrap. So he catches Bobby kind of like cleaning his clothes or trying to get the smell out, and then takes his shirt, smells it. So it's true. You have been effing my wife. And that's how the episode closes. And also we get a brief scene of when Alan is going to his car. Kyle confronts him saying, hey, if you talk, I want you to call somebody, talk about Jason and whatnot, because that gives me a reason to mangle your face. And these two just have a war of words as always. Alan's like, why don't you lay down in the parking lot and I'll, run you over like roadkill. Okay, Alan, have a good night. Pulls out the gun. Remember, if you talk, pow. And that's it. So yeah, Grown Woman, that was the name of the episode. That was my review. And I'll catch you all in the next video.